You take a pill that has zero medicine in it, no chemicals, no active ingredients, just sugar. But somehow, your pain decreases, your mood improves, and your body starts to heal. Crazy, right? But here's the wild part. Your brain can trigger real biological changes just because it believes something is helping. So the big question is, how can a fake pill fool your body into healing itself? And what does modern science actually say about the placebo effect? In this videocast, we're gonna break down the surprising science behind placebo. And trust me, it's way more powerful than you think.
Today, we're opening up a really fascinating file, something that's one of the most powerful and honestly perplexing forces in all of healthcare.
You're talking about the placebo effect.
Exactly. We're looking at sources that ask this fundamental paradox. How can something completely inactive, basically a sugar pill,
Right.
how can that make you feel genuinely, measurably better? It sounds impossible.
It does. And that's our mission today. We want to get you past this idea that it's all just, wishful thinking.
Yeah, that it's all in your head.
It is in your head, but not in the way people think. We're going to give you a shortcut to the neurobiology, the actual psychology that triggers what is essentially an internal pharmacy.
So we'll cover what happens in your brain, and this is crucial where the hard scientific limits are.
Exactly. There are very real limits.
Okay, so before we dive into the how, let's get the terms straight. People use placebo and placebo effect almost like they're the same thing.
They do, but they're not. They're technically distinct. The placebo itself is just the thing, the treatment. The inert substance. It could be a sugar pill, a dextrose pill, even a saline injection.
Something with no active drug in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It has no chemical property designed to affect your biology. Researchers use them in clinical trials as a control, a baseline.
To see what the power of suggestion is actually doing.
Precisely. And the placebo effect, that's the outcome.
Okay.
That's the real measurable improvement in someone's symptoms that happens after they get that inert pill. The cause isn't the chemistry, it's the whole psychological reaction to getting care.
So when I first heard about this, my first thought was, it's just a delusion. You think the pain is gone.
Right.
How do we know it's more than just people wanting to feel better, so they say they do?
And that is the most important question. Because if it were just misreporting, we wouldn't see the biological changes that we do.
Ah, okay.
The science actually confirms there is a real physiological connection. The body is triggering genuine physical and chemical changes just based on the expectation of relief.
So what's the trigger? What makes the brain start changing its own chemistry?
It all comes down to a mental state, specifically expectation and belief. Your mind has to be convinced that a real treatment has happened.
So if you truly believe this pill is going to help me.
Yes, that cognitive expectation is what kicks off the physical response pathways in your body.
And what are those responses? I want to get into the technical details here.
Well, the mechanism is really a combination of two things. You have classical conditioning, and then you have conscious expectation.
Okay, classical conditioning, like Pavlov's dogs.
Sort of, yeah. Think about it. If you always take, say, an anti-inflammatory pill for your headache, your brain learns to associate the ritual of taking a pill.
The shape, the color, swallowing it.
Exactly. That whole ritual becomes a cue. And over time, that cue alone can signal the brain to start preparing the relief mechanism.
So even a fake pill can act as that learned trigger.
Precisely. And the chemical response it triggers is powerful. We're talking about what scientists call endogenous chemistry.
Meaning chemicals your body makes itself.
You got it. Specifically, we see a release of endorphins, which are the body's natural opioid-like pain relievers, and also dopamine, which is tied to reward and motivation.
So I take a placebo, my brain says, here's the signal for relief, and it literally pushes the button for its own internal painkillers.
That's it. And we have undeniable proof of this from brain imaging. Functional MRI, or fMRI, lets us see which parts of the brain are working hardest when someone takes a placebo.
And what do those scans actually show? What's the key piece of evidence?
They show that a placebo can activate the very same neural circuits that real active drugs target.
The same ones.
Same ones. For pain, a placebo lights up regions like the periaqueductal gray and the rostral ventromedial medulla. These are the brain's core pain control pathways.
So if you give someone a real opioid, those areas light up. You give them a sugar pill they believe in.
And those same areas light up.
Yeah.
Exactly. There was a landmark study on that.
That.
Researchers first gave people a placebo and confirmed they got pain relief. Then, they gave them an opioid blocker, a drug called naloxone.
Which would block the real drug.
Oh, right. And as soon as they gave them the blocker, the placebo relief just vanished.
Wow.
It proved that the placebo effect was literally working by releasing the body's own endorphins. The brain was self-medicating.
That is just incredible. The sugar pill is a suggestion that lets your body access its own internal pharmacy.
It's some of the strongest evidence we have that the mind has a direct, potent effect on your body's biochemistry.
Okay, but this sounds so powerful, it begs the question. If the brain can do this, why can't it cure everything? Where's the line between what a placebo can do and what it absolutely can't touch?
That is the critical warning here. And the line is really between subjective symptoms and objective, measurable disease.
So things that are about perception.
Yes. The placebo effect works best when the symptom is rooted in how we feel, how we perceive something. It's when the brain is the main thing modulating the experience.
Okay, so what specific conditions are we talking about? Where is it most effective?
Pain. Number one, without a doubt. Chronic pain, back pain, headaches, migraines. Since pain is fundamentally a subjective experience created by the brain.
It makes sense that the brain can turn down the volume on it.
Exactly. The endorphin release can dramatically reduce the perception of that pain.
And what about beyond physical pain?
Well, anything tied to mood and self-reported wellness. So, stress, insomnia, anxiety. It also helps with subjective side effects from other treatments.
Like nausea from chemo.
Exactly, or fatigue. A placebo can't cure the cancer, but it can make the experience of the treatment much more tolerable. It can improve quality of life enormously.
But then we hit that hard limit. If it's releasing powerful internal opioids, why can't we use that to, say, shrink a tumor or fix blood pressure?
Because the placebo effect changes the experience of the illness. It doesn't typically change the underlying pathology.
The structure of the disease.
Right. A placebo can't control cell division, it can't fight off a bacterial infection, it can't chemically change hard lab measures.
So my cholesterol isn't going to drop just because I believe in a sugar pill.
Precisely. If you look at objective biological markers, blood glucose, viral load, the growth rate of a lesion, the placebo effect it fails to show consistent, lasting improvement.
That's a really crucial distinction for listener. You might feel a lot better.
But that doesn't mean the underlying disease has been fixed.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. The placebo is a master of perception, but not a master of cellular physics.
That's a great way to put it. It's a modulator, not a repairman.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more. The sources really emphasize that the pill itself is often less important than the entire ritual around it.
Oh, absolutely.
So why does the setting, the white coat, the doctor's confident attitude, why does that matter so much?
Because that context is the engine that drives expectation. The whole environment reinforces the idea that you're about to get powerful help.
It primes you to believe.
It does. The ritual of medicine, the serious tone, the prescription pad, all of it. These are incredibly potent conditioning cues. They signal to your brain, okay, healing is starting now.
So the doctor's office is like a highly charged expectation zone.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And think about the caregiver's role in that. Studies clearly show that a doctor who is empathetic, who really listens, who explains things with confidence, they get a significantly higher placebo response than a doctor who's brusque and dismissive. That trust and reassurance, they're biological amplifiers.
The interaction itself becomes part of the therapy.
Yes. It helps the patient shift their brain state from anxiety and fear, which often makes symptoms worse, to hope and expectation, which trigger those pain-relieving chemicals.
This brings us to what I think is the most counterintuitive finding of all. It really challenges the whole idea that you have to be tricked for this to work.
You're talking about open-label placebos.
Yeah. This research it blows my mind.
It completely revolutionized our understanding. For decades, the assumption was the patient had to be fooled. Open-label placebo, or OLP, studies prove that's just not true.
So describe this setup. What happens when you tell people straight up, this is a fake pill?
Well, in these OLP studies, which often focus on things like irritable bowel syndrome or chronic pain, the participants are handed a bottle and told very explicitly.
No deception at all.
None. They're told something like, this is a sugar pill. It has no active drug. However, we know the placebo effect is a real neurobiological response, and taking this ritualistically can lead to real improvement.
And people actually get better, even knowing it's not real.
They do. It's amazing. Numerous studies have shown statistically significant improvements in symptoms. Less pain, less bloating, better quality of life compared to people who got no treatment at all.
That is just staggering.
It is. It shows that the power is less in the trick and more in the conscious choice to engage with the ritual and trust in your body's ability to heal.
You don't need the lie. You just need to believe in the potential of the ritual itself.
It taps into that self-aware expectation. You're accepting the suggestion of healing, and the pill is just the physical tool to reinforce that routine.
Okay, so let's use some of those source examples to make this concrete for people. The sugar pill for a headache. The speed is the giveaway.
Exactly. The time lag is key. You get a headache, you pop a pill. You expect relief in, what, 10, 15 minutes?
About that.
Your brain, which has been conditioned for years, doesn't wait.
Right.
It preemptively releases those endorphins. Your pain perception drops almost instantly, long before any real drug could even get into your bloodstream.
So that immediate feeling of, relief is coming, that's the placebo effect.
That's it in action. And the other example, the magic of routine, shows it doesn't even have to be a pill.
Right.
If you create a strict evening ritual, maybe it's drinking warm lemon water and doing specific stretches, because you read it helps with insomnia. That ritual becomes a powerful cue. The lemon water isn't chemically making you sleepy, but the repeated routine signals safety and rest to your nervous system. The context-driven expectation is what helps you fall asleep.
So we've got a real neurobiological mechanism, and it's supercharged by context and belief. So what's the so what? What does this all mean for the future of medicine?
I think it forces us to radically redefine what healing even is.
How so?
It tells us that healing is not just a molecular interaction. It is fundamentally a human experience. Belief, trust, ritual. These aren't just fluffy, nice-to-have things. They are potent biological variables that directly influence outcomes.
Which really changes the job description for doctors and nurses.
It has to. It suggests that any medical treatment works best when the active drug is delivered inside an environment that also maximizes this placebo response.
So you combine the two.
You have to.
Yeah.
The future could be about ethically integrating these non-drug factors, building trust, improving communication, elevating the ritual of care right alongside the pharmaceuticals.
And the goal would be, what, better outcomes with maybe fewer drugs?
Better outcomes, possibly with less reliance on high doses. It just reminds us that there is this enormous untapped resource in the patient's own mind. We have to learn how to ethically and effectively harness it.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. It really confirms that while we have amazing tools on the shelf, maybe the greatest pharmacy is the one you already carry around with you.
Your own brain.
Yeah.
Indeed. And that leads to a final thought for you to mull over.
Okay.
Given this confirmed, robust neurobiological power of context, ritual, and trust, if the experience of care is itself biologically active, how should we be changing the way healthcare is delivered to make sure that benefit is always maximized, even when we're using proven active medicines? That's something worth thinking about.
Now you know placebo isn't magic, and it's definitely not fake healing. It's your brain activating real chemistry, real hormones, and real changes inside your body, all because of belief and expectation. So next time you hear someone say, "It's just placebo," remember, sometimes the mind can trigger reactions that medicine alone can't. I'm so happy you were here with me in this videocast. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and let's explore more mind-blowing science together.